So there's no doubt about it that there's been a lot of actors slash actresses within the film industry, within the Hollywood bubble, that's really been putting a lot of the general public pretty much full blast, really blaming them for this or that. We have people out there like Sharon Stone, Alec Baldwin, and among others out there that have been saying that they are misinformed, that they are uneducated, that they are this, that they are that, and it's really just getting a large portion of the general public really fed up with these actors, really fed up with these, of course, those within the film industry that want nothing to do with, of course, any differing opinion out there. And the latest example has a lot to do with Robert De Niro, which, by the way, he has been very silent for a very long time until recently. We know that he came out a couple of weeks ago about his, of course, disgust with overall critics and those that are against his views. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with De Niro's overall behavior after his recent firing from Warner Brothers and, of course, other studios out there. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Robert De Niro is that we know that he in particular is, of course, one actor that is just completely unhinged. He says the most ridiculous things out there. He has no clue what he's saying anymore. And we also know that at the same exact time, Robert De Niro is one person, of course, that really just likes to constantly go on this blame game train. Very much like Sonny Hostin, very much like Whoopi Goldberg, Alec Baldwin. They're all the same. They all say similar talking points to the point where it just sounds like that they are parroting each other. However, on top of everything here, of course, with the entire media and Hollywood now in complete panic after the backlash was so strong from the general public throughout the past several weeks, one major development going on now involves more to do with Robert De Niro and what he recently had to say in the aftermath of his firing from Warner Brothers and the significant backlash that he received. De Niro delivered the following: "What we have experienced in the past 7 weeks has been an absolute disgrace. I have started to question myself, what country am I even living in anymore? And can we even trust the American people anymore? And now we have to live under this man that wants to act like a king, and I refuse to say his name anymore because he just disgusts me at this point. It's a very unfair and crazy world right now. It's a clown show, and we are going to have to deal with this for the next 4 or more years, which makes it even more sick. We are seeing way too many people blaming actors and making them out to be the bad guys or the gangsters. It's the people who want to live under this king for the next 4 years. Those are the gangsters, and it sickens me that this is what this world has come to and how it's also costing many jobs for those in this industry. Whether you're in the acting business or presenting yourself in the media, it's all, of course, now costing you jobs because of this one man and the people that following him and have to deal with him the first hand, that I am unwilling to go into specifics until I find the proper time to do so and how it impacted my career. Because it also has impacted me as well. People want to always say celebrities have no souls. Well, we are just like every other, of course, hard-working man or woman in this country, and that needs to be better understood. We don't live in a bubble or in a closed reality, as many claim. This is part of the false narrative that many like to present to make us out to be the bad guys, and it needs to come to a full stop already. We need to actually make that very clear, and we need to actually buckle up for what's in store for the next 4 years, because it's really going to be a very difficult time for actors like me who are going to be singled out and pointed out as the villain. How dare the people of this country act in such a way to fall into this twisted trap that we are part of some hidden agenda? Don't you listen to these people and what they say. It's absolute nonsense. Now let me just stop here for 1 second about Robert De Niro. Now he's going on to say that, oh, it's all because of the general public as to why actors and actresses are losing their jobs, alright? This is exactly what Robert De Niro does. He always does this. He blames people for why they are struggling right now with their careers, and now that Robert De Niro basically was fired by Warner Brothers, this has been a very, ongoing thing. We talked about this for like the past month and a half, give or take. That all had to do with the fact that he spewed out his very inflammatory comments to the general public that did not agree with that at all. And here he is yet again saying that actors and actresses are just like the regular hardworking man and woman. Now, I heavily disagree with that, honestly. Look, I know they have their own craft. I know that they have their own way of life, if you will, in a very, in a very odd way. They live in their own bubble. That's a very given fact. And he doesn't want to really come to terms with that. These are very rich people. These are people that are pretty much in the overall film industry that really don't live in a very exact way that the very regular people do. And that's where he's getting things mixed up. They don't really live in the reality that regular people do live in. That's a very given fact. Now, Robert De Niro continues, of course, on top of everything here, to pull the blame game. Nothing different than Sonny Hostin, nothing different than Whoopi Goldberg, and many others out there. So he goes on to actually conclude, I look forward to the day when we can finally never see this man's face again. Because anyone who wants to follow a man who wants to be like a king, I think is the living example of how flawed and misinformed our country is right now. And it needs to be, of course, and it needs so much work done for society to even function correctly. I think when you look at him and what Elon have done to this country is despicable. They feel they are able to throw around all these claims that are just coming from fantasy and are creating this stigma for actors to do their job properly. And believe me, it's making my job more difficult as it is, and it's deeply frustrating. So again, Robert De Niro is making it very clear that he's very fed up, that he's very angry with the general public. He's actually blaming them when in reality, the reason why he was let go by WB, the reason why he was fired by that studio and many other studios, and how more studios within the industry are beginning to blacklist him, it's all because of the comments that he spewed out there. It's all because of the inflammatory comments and claims that he made to the general public that really just were never forgotten, quite frankly, and how it really got to a point where people just resent this guy now. They can't even watch his past material, whether it's The Godfather, whether it's, of course, other movies that he's been in, like Goodfellas. A lot of people, shockingly, can't even find themselves to watch his past movies. And look, guys, as far as I'm concerned, good riddance. I don't think that we need people like Robert De Niro anymore. And when you compare someone like Robert De Niro to Sylvester Stallone, those that are, up there in age, look, we know that one is very passionate about being an actor, and one is really not so passionate about being an actor. Robert De Niro has no care in the world about that craft. He has no care in the world about his fans or those that have been loyal to him over the years that now want nothing to do with him anymore, based on his inflammatory comments that he has actually put out there to the general public. And this is another big example of how he's no different than actors like George Clooney, Alec Baldwin, and many others out there that just don't get it. They just don't get it at all as to why the public want nothing to do with them anymore, and how they pretty much have called it quits. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.